Hello and welcome to episode 14 of our Timberborn Update 6 Emberpelts hardboat playthrough here in cycle 20 days 17. About 4.5, almost 5 days left in the drought before we get to cycle 21. And last episode, we got a lot of cool stuff done and also made a couple mistakes that we're gonna fix based on your comments. But first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna hit pause on this mine because there's other stuff. You see these guys immediately turned around. There's other stuff we absolutely have to take care of before we have our new cycle start. So, yes, the many of you, and I do mean many of you, who have informed me that I accidentally put apple trees in the middle of the maples, don't worry. We're going to fix it. I appreciate you looking out. I just wanted to let you know right off the bat that we are going to take care of that. But perhaps the most pressing need right now... Get it? Get it? Pressing need? Well, we're also going to mess with that. These levees right here are definitely going to cause flooding. A bunch of you guys pointed that out as well. So what I want to do is not just put dams in. You know, that's always an option. And dams are fine, but they're not adjustable. So, you know, the default is, of course, go and put a floodgate in or a sluice in. But you know what we haven't messed with yet? That's a unique thing for the Emberpelts, is these flat top floodgates. So these are cool, because it's the same, functionally the same thing as a regular floodgate. It has the adjustability. It, unlike a sluice, is actually adjustable. Of course, it doesn't filter or anything. But you can put pathing on top of these guys, and you can even build on top of them with pretty much anything. So I think that's really cool, and I want to put those in there. I'm going to say let's set this to 0.9. Maybe I should say 0.85. Now we'll set it to 0.9. I'll show you why in a little bit. But then this other side over here, this one's in the middle, right? Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, go ahead and put this flat top floodgate in place. Put that to 0.9. So the reason I'm doing that is because I want this to be full all the time. I know it's going to be a whole lot of evaporation. Doesn't matter, we're on normal. It's going to be fine. But because we have these sluices here, we can utilize the close above downstream depth thing if we set it to 0.85 to basically always ensure this is going to be completely full. If for some reason, somehow it overfills, then it won't completely flood everything because 0.9 is still low enough to let a little bit of water out, even though it's not going to, you know, do it until it's built. So, just make sure we're going to get that taken care of. So 0.85, 0.85, there you go. Builders are going to keep working on that. And I also want to turn our attention to this area here, because this is going to be really important. We can't do the close above downstream depth a bit with this, because, well, the blue square can't go down any lower. So I will go ahead and set these to 0.85 while I can. I think I might have to still mess with them later, but I want to make sure that I at least have something taken care of. We can't open this to test, in case you were wondering, because there is water down there, and these guys do not like to get wet. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, since this is probably the most important bit of this whole thing, I'm going to super prioritize the construction of these bits of dynamite and these ladders and everything, because these three can be reached from up here, and the rest of them can't. So now that we've established that, let's go ahead and hit on that turbo mode button and let those guys get to work. While we talk about something else, the height shower mod, you guys have kind of been asking for a while for me to get back, but I just now, of course, am getting that back installed. And this is why this is really cool, because a couple of you guys left comments saying that you were concerned that this dam would cause flooding problems. But take a look, if we aim this correctly so that it can actually hit the right voxels and stuff. This right here, this levee, and also these dams, see it says height 13. If you have it in the middle of the holes here, then it's going to give you a different reading because transparency, whatever. So let's just say that the dams here are essentially like 12.65. You come back here to this exit, and this is 12. So the water's always going to come down here anyway.
Are you sure about that?
Until we build this up, these will not be usable. So there's always going to be water coming out here. And then, of course, this is higher as well, but the water does come this way and is going to spill out to some degree. And then over here, where they're currently working on building this levee, this is also 13. So this is actually higher than the water can ever get until we build other stuff here. So I just want to let everybody know that everything is going to be fine with this. I very, very, very much appreciate the concern, but I thought about it. I wasn't entirely sure that the numbers were going to be accurate because I was just eyeballing at that point. But thanks to the Height Shower mod that we can finally actually know for sure. All right, let's go ahead, while we have the chance to go ahead and detonate these dynamites and not kill any beavers, we'll go ahead and do that. They're going to continue doing the rest of this. But these two right here are now ready to go. Yeah, okay, we do have to adjust this, but that's why we check. Set this to 0.85. Set that to 0.85. And then this one won't be too much further behind. So that's exciting. That's going to mean that this should never flood. It'll just get held back, and any extra will go off the backside here, but it's totally fine. Again, we're in normal mode. We have 6,500 water storage. We probably need some more built, but for our purposes right now, it's totally fine. These guys are working diligently here as well. And of course, this is set to 0.85. These, once they are finished, will be set to 0.9, which is perfect for this. All sorts of good fun ready to go. And it looks like our plank production can't quite keep up with some of this. We do still need to augment our industrial stuff, but it hasn't been a huge problem yet. We'll probably fix that at some point in the future. But that's the early game stuff, early episode stuff that you guys specifically requested that we fix from last episode. So yes, we are still going to take care of those trees. I just want to make sure that the water distribution stuff is taken care of because, again, the beavers don't like to get wet. So if we can avoid that, then, you know, it's just going to be that much better for everybody. So now we just need to put in some triples there, and that should be good. Those were placed first, so I guess that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and start demolishing these apple trees. I do not know why I decided that that would be a smart thing to do, if I even decided at all. That could have just been an absolute brain destruction moment, but we're not replacing with apple trees. We're doing maple trees. Maple trees. Can they reach this? Yes. Okay, good. We do need to grow more maple trees. Although, honestly, we have 950-something maple syrup right now. I think it's probably going to be okay. Regardless, it just, again, just wanted to let you guys know that that is something that I am actually paying attention to fixing. And we have all these apple trees here that can't get gathered, so guess what? Time for a gather flag here. And there you go. Those guys will be able to take care of that nice and easily. This is ready to go here. Again, these are set correctly. Did they finish these? Looks like they did. Great. Very good. Very, very, very good stuff. And this is ready to go. Cool, cool, cool. So 0.85 we go. Nope, come on, come on. Nope, come on. 0.85. Thank you. Alright, there should no longer be a reason... Oh, okay, this guy can not do that anymore, so go do something else. If we have 1 day left, it should be just enough time for us to get rid of all of this, pick up those pieces, put them back in storage, and then remove access to the riverbed here. We probably also don't need to keep this dam here, but I don't think it's going to cause issues. I think we're probably okay to just leave that in place. So, go ahead and take care of this. Just get these picked up. We got that taken care of as well. Looks like it. Cool. Very good. All right, now, after all that, we can finally undo the pause on this mine, get them finishing that. We are producing additional bricks, we're producing additional planks, we're producing additional gears, we're producing additional logs. So this should be up and running, hopefully, soon-ish. Then this will get finished as well. There's a little bit more I want to do with the way of blasting stuff out here, just for the sake of flow improvements. And, oh yes, the second kiln is operating. That was a question that came up. It is working. It was not at the end of the last episode, so that was a necessary thing to keep an eye on. And yeah, that's going to be the end of this drought just a second here, we'll see this water come back in. And finally, we can set these to auto. In fact, I think I can go ahead and do that now. But before I let anything out, I am going to come out of triple speed because the water physics tend to be a little bit weird. We'll just go ahead and auto all of these. And there we go, cycle 21. I do like how that looks going in between these little stacks of land here. So now that that's coming out, get this triple speeded. Slowly rotating. We are going to replace this with the fuel generators. Don't forget, that's just something we haven't done yet. Well, we should see this slowly work its way through here. There is only a little bit of water that can come through this because, you know, there's only so much. But we have this that is slowly filling things up here. Going to go through our sluice gates here. I've got 8 wide going this way. Set to close above contamination 1%. There should be 0%. This, of course, set to close below contamination 1%. Also 8 wide, and that's totally fine. And then all the way over here, we do have clean water that we haven't done anything with yet. I do think it would be fun to have a separate district over here, like we've talked about before, in the long-term planning, but we're still not quite at that point yet. Where we are, though, is very close to this mine being complete, which we will get up and running, and I believe could be a good candidate for our first additional district. Just have to decide what else is going to be going on over here. Obviously, we want to have some more power over here so we can do industrial stuff. I think moving all the metal production over here would be smart. And we just have to be able to get a handle on exactly what it is we want to be doing there. Yeah, so now we have actual water coming in from the rest of this. It's going to take some time to get filled all the way up. But we'll see that in due time. This guy here, we need to check replant dead trees not marked for cutting. Thank you to those of you who reminded me about that. And what I'm going to go ahead and do for the sake of, well, all of this stuff here is I'm going to remove this tree. I'm going to put a staircase here so that this gatherer flag can reach up here and get all of these apples. And wow, we got 1,300 apples. That was quick. Apple pie stocks are absolutely soaring currently. You can see that right now. But we do still want to make sure that we have the ability to create a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to go through a lot of this as the population gets bigger. All right, hey, look at this. Look at this. We've got sluices filling this up quite nicely. Water coming in here. We can actually get rid of these levees at some point soon as well. But want to keep this nice and full. We'll see these shut off. Then hopefully there isn't any flooding. The dams I don't think are going to really cause any issue with that. But I do need to make sure that this will actually shut off. So, these automated water pumps should be more or less exactly the power draw to fully utilize one of these engines at 500 HP. It's going to be close. So, I think we either want to put liquid fuel, like I said before, if we want to have some additional processing over here. Or we could just do one of these regular engines because we do have charcoal and these really don't consume that much. Like in a single day, it'll consume 2.4 units of charcoal and we have 83 right now. So that's, well, okay, 80, I'm sorry. 79, you get the idea. We have enough for quite a long time. We don't need to worry about it. We also have 2,500 fuel. It's overfilling. So was I actually wrong? Is this going to be another instance of comments were right and I was wrong? The answer to that question is probably yes. Okay, let's hit pause. I've massively overestimated the ability of these channels to drain additional water. So, now this is an interesting problem. We're going to have to do emergency releases. So I'm just going to open these. Open these entirely, and this is part of the reason why this is a thing. Just going to open this entirely so we can evacuate water that is unnecessarily polluting our area here. Who could have seen this coming? Apparently all of you. All right, So, yeah, that's going to make me look like an absolute idiot. That's comment fuel for sure. Not intentional, or anybody starts that garbage again. But I digress. I got to get across here, and I think... Ooh, so close, so close. I have the science, so... I guess I could do a 6 and then a 1. I know that seems just incredibly stupid looking. But, you know, at some point we're going to need all these anyway. So, I guess a 4 on this side and then a 3. Get that in place. Come over here. Come over here. At least it's clean water. At least it's clean water, not bad water. We just... we have to get these things blown up. And there are going to be some beavers who are going to be wet and not having a good time while doing it, so them's the breaks. Yeah, yeah. You know, somebody told me to do this, and now it just looks stupid. Alright, that's fine. Nothing new at all with that. Yeah, it's just, oh boy. Oh yes. Oh yes, friends. This is what happens. This is what happens when you make bad choices. So, they're going to work on that, and it seems like, it seems like some choices may have been made on our behalf. And by on our behalf, I mean, I made a boo-boo. Where are these guys going? They're getting scrap metal. Because this is set to supply. Okay, that can just be set to accept. I don't need to worry about that. Yeah, now we got a problem, and I think the only way to really solve it is just going to be to open this sluice and let it backflow from here. Yeah, because this, I mean, again, the water is fine because it's not bad water, but it's still going to be like a net negative to get a whole bunch of beavers with wet fur that are very, very much not going to enjoy that. So... even in my stupidity, sometimes there are ways to have some sort of tiny amount of brilliance in diverting water ahead of time here. So, again, could be much worse. Has been much worse. No longer necessary to be that much worse. These are, of course, going to continue flooding until the rest of this backs up. Alright. I'm just going to close this straight up. And all of this is going to get diverted here. That should solve that problem entirely once the rest of this flows outside. Oh boy, I love it when I'm wrong, and not really. But the good news is, these beavers here, even though they are waterlogged, can come through here and get that taken care of. And before anything else bad happens, should, being the operative term, be able to make this not that big of a deal. Yeah, water is a very powerful thing when you have a whole lot of it going really, really fast. So, soon this will end because there is no more water coming through here. It's just that the amount that there was... Oh boy! Who could have predicted this? Everyone, I'm gonna get absolutely demolished in the comments on this. Oh boy, yeah, okay, bring it on. Tell me I'm terrible, it's alright. All joking aside, this is why I tell people to leave comments. If you like it, let me know. If you hate it, let me know. We're going to be fine either way. Now let's go ahead and get this set back up to 0.85. Actually, no. 0.9 is what I had this set to. Now that it's no longer flooding through here, I can actually get this whole thing situated. They're almost done with that. Got to draw it in 2.5 days. I hate to have all of this be just completely wasted. But that's what happens, and that's why this is here, just in case I made a stupid mistake, which, hey, guess what? Happened anyway. But the other good news is, despite this being just absolutely, completely flooded, we do have access up here. If this doesn't evaporate in 9 days, these trees may die, which is unfortunate, but I don't really know how I'm going to solve this. I think the only real way to do that is to pump it out, but I don't really have anywhere I can stick a pump currently. Because there's just trees absolutely everywhere. Can they even reach in here? I just need like one square that I can actually populate with this. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get rid of these without having beavers go in there. What is the furthest I could get? Or maybe I should just say, you know what? Enough is enough. Just don't be dumb. I guess... Oh, there's no tree planted here. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Going to remove these 3 trees. We're going to take our path. We're going to go up here, and then I'm going to have to put in a water pump as soon as this goes away, like so. And that's just going to be pump central. I promise you, I was not planning for this episode to go this way. It just ended up going this way. So, hooray, the mine flooded. Yay, now I have to waste half an episode with this thing not operating. But 1.2 days. All right, come on. I know it's going to be a drought anyway, so it doesn't matter, but it is what it is. It's fine. But in that brief moment of lucidity, we did manage to solve some problems before things just got completely turned on their head, as they often tend to be. But, hey, this is nice. This is nice having this here. Now we have so much more room for planting. We've got other stuff we can take care of. And we do still have to get this replaced, but now we're obviously very much in this crisis management mode, as one does. So, if I turn this back on over here, then there is going to be some additional flooding. I don't think they're going to be able to, finish this, so guess what? It doesn't matter. I'm going to open this up anyway. Let's go ahead. I'm not going to close this, but I am going to open this just to get a little bit more water in here, so we will have enough during the drought to continue populating all of the water down here. Okay, get that prioritized. Got to get this thing pumped out. We got 8 days or all the trees die. Love it when that happens. Except I kind of don't. That's fine. We got a couple blocks worth of depth to fill up here before this goes completely dry. And then that is going to be what it's going to be. I'll just go ahead and set this to auto, and they'll deal with it when they deal with it. So I guess now would be a good time to kind of talk about this this district expansion thing we want to do over here. Like I said, we definitely want to have metal production close to the mine, and we've got space to do it here. 22 days. Nifty neato. That's actually good. That's actually good. Gives us plenty of time to get stuff pumped out. Go ahead and dynamite this just because I can. Hey, this is taken care of now. Nice. For all the flow issues we're probably not going to have again. But we'll let them take care of that. We need to have some sort of power source. So obviously the easy thing is just say, hey, liquid fuel engines. But liquid fuel has to be produced. And if we have separate districts, you really kind of want them to be independent for stuff. So what we either do is we have bad water pumps ready to go here. You know what? Let's go ahead and unpause those there. You either have bad water pumps over here to make stuff, or because Emberpelts have access to both of these, we put a bad water rig or a bad water discharge on this guy and just infinitely pump all of that stuff out. I think in this case, unless we want to generate power, which Emberpelts, there's not really much of a reason to use the compact water wheels, we probably should just put a bad water rig on this. And a 20-some day drought isn't going to be enough for this to completely evaporate, but it would be enough for us to actually build one of these bad water rigs before we turn this into a separate district. Get all of this stuff set up in place and just utilize this with no pollution, and everything will be hunky-dory, etc., so on and so forth, which I think would be fantastic. So, if we put one here, there's a couple different orientations we can use. Just put a ladder there, put a ladder there. I think I kind of want to do that way. And then this being bad water as well, if we want to eventually clean up the map, we want to cap this. Or, well, it's called a discharge. The original Folktales version is a bad water cap. But this is the discharge. We just have it set to close. That's going to require materials that we pretty much already have, looks like. The gears are cutting it a little close, so that will take a little bit of time. But if we want to be able to actually utilize this to put beavers in as, or bots when we get there, as workers, then we're going to need to have both of these taken care of. Unless we just want to have a couple of levees here, which is probably the smart way to do it anyway. So, all of that being said, long-term, bad water rig is going to be the way to go. And instead of building stairs down here to where this will be completely submerged, the method I think I'm going to want to use here is to put in a bridge. That way they don't have to actually go down there, but they can just walk to the end and, you know, drop the pieces down, because that's how everybody builds everything, right? Just kind of chuck the materials in the general direction of the project, and then they'll magically fall into place. Absolutely no problems. Please don't try that at home. They're going to get to work. Look at them go. Look at them go. They're already trying to build that. And that will be a very good first step. That'll drain this whole thing. And then when we have the ability to actually get across here, which, you know what, we can go ahead and do without too much fanfare, just by building one of these guys. We can actually make our way across here and not put another rig, but we have the 5500 science. We can unlock the bad water discharge instead of, you know, putting a whole bunch of resources into the rest of the stuff, which we'll still have the ability to do. Just start the process of building this thing. Make sure this is set to close. And that should solve this side of the map's pollution problems once and for all. And also this is flooded, so these beavers have nothing to do anyway. Oh boy. Well, how are we looking here? 3.6 days. There is still a lot of water. Oh, please. Please continue pumping. Please continue pumping. I beg you. I don't think there's anywhere else I can put a pump, unless I just want to completely get rid of a bunch of this. The forester actually, you know what? We're gonna choose life here. We're gonna get rid of the forester. Gonna get rid of this, and I'm gonna put in another pump because I don't want these trees to all die. 2.7 days. 2.7 days. They're definitely not making this happen. All right, come on. Get these things out of here. I got to put this in here. Come on, folks. Come on. I know you guys have nothing better to do. Build this immediately. Pump immediately. Come on. Build. They only have 2.5 days. Alright. The rest of these materials, I'm pretty sure we have enough. So they're going to take care of that. But this needs to be built right now. Right now. Some of these trees do not have very long at all. Save the apple trees. Save the apple trees. Is this still wet? Absolutely is. Okay, that's a shame. They still haven't done this either. Well, we got time. It's fine. It's fine. 3 days. Come on. 2.3 days. 3.5 days. Somebody come finish this. I know you're in bed, but wake up. Wake up. Come finish it. Please. It's for the good of everyone. Oh, you know what? They actually can't reach this. I made a mistake. That definitely never happens. Yeah, we're going to get rid of that. And then this should allow them to be able to construct this. Again, they got time. Good. Pump away. Pump away. Because everyone's collective lives depend on it. How close? How close are we? Okay, we got like 25% of this left. We got 2 days. We got 2 days. 2.1. 3.4. Okay, so not all of them are going to die, but a decent portion of them definitely are. Oh well. Life goes on. But anyway, like I was saying, we really want to make sure we have a completely independent production chain for all this stuff over here. So, this bad water rig is going to produce, if we use the normal recipe, 40 bad water per hour. We go in here to the refinery. Every hour, the bad water recipe utilizes 10 to make 15 units of fuel. And then we, of course, could also put that through a centrifuge to make the extract and all that other stuff, but that really doesn't use very much. Every hour would use approximately 5 bad water. So, if we wanted to max out what our bad water rig is capable of pumping, then we would have to have 4 refineries. Now I'm very, very curious. We got 2 days, 2 days, 0.8 days. Oh, but there's still so much water in here. There's still so much. Like, obviously, it's not all going to be gone, but it's got to be real close. It's going to have to be close, right? Like, I would have to imagine that it's just going to be incredibly, incredibly close. Well, I don't want to sit there and watch trees die, so that's going to be fine. But the point I'm trying to make is we're not going to need to have 4 refineries to make all this stuff. So we're not going to need to run the bad water rig at maximum pumping capacity. Remember, it holds 10 beavers. So assuming it's linear, the amount that it inclines, declines, whatever, depending on how many workers you have in there. If we run this at half speed, half capacity, 5 beavers working, then every hour it'll pump 20 bad water, which, you go into the refinery here, is half of, or twice as much as one refinery uses. So we could have 2, or we could just say, you know what? We're just going to have 3 beavers. We're going to have a little bit extra. That's probably fine. So that's what I'm thinking there. We just have to set up some sort of production that's also going to have everything else taken care of just fine. So the fuel that goes into the liquid fuel engine, every hour it burns half a unit of fuel. So we're already just wildly overproducing. Unless we're also making bots. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, is that this district up here could be a nice way to introduce bots. 1, because the mine is a very dangerous, very injury-prone working environment. 2, because this is kind of the outskirts of the society currently, so having bots operate this whole thing means there's no food or water requirement over here. But the bots have to be, they have to exist first for that to be possible. So I think all of this, remember, all of this has a purpose for me rambling about this for the past, 5-10 minutes. If we go ahead and set things up correctly before we make it a second district, there should be, quote-unquote, no problems. So we want to make sure that we can make as much as we need to make. So I usually like to have 2 sets of bot parts factories and 4 assemblers. Pretty much every playthrough I do, it just seems to work out pretty well. Let's hope that ends up working out. I have no reason to believe that it won't. But we're going to need to select a location for all that. We're going to need to have all of the supplies put in place, and we'll need a district crossing, which, depending on how we want to have stuff set up here, we're either going to want to place, I was thinking maybe at the bottom here, or we could just say, you know what, it's going to be at the top of the hill here, and then we can also put in storage close to the crossing for other stuff, which honestly is probably the better way to do things anyhow. Yeah, you know what? I think that's what we're going to go with. It's going to make more sense to do that. All right, so if I do overhangs, then I could do this guy right here, and then I could do this guy right here, which is going to allow me to put in industrial pile here, and then also here. Remember that what we need for bots is planks, metal blocks, and gears. For all of the bot parts. And then the assembler also uses fuel, but fuel is being produced locally. So, planks, metal blocks, and then the gears, we have the opportunity to decide how those are going to fit in. Remember, this holds 180. We don't need to have a giant stock of things. So the simple solution, I think, is going to be just to blast out one of these guys here, put in that guy there, and then this can just be gears. Totally fine. That should be pretty much the only materials that need to be imported into this district in the first place, no matter what. But because this district is also using the mine, we have these materials to contend with, which are bricks and dynamite being the extras. Plus, we have scrap metal. So in reality, we need to have all of that here as well. So in so doing, we can either just say, you know what, it doesn't really matter. We can just kind of ignore whatever and then just move on with our lives. Or sound like a sea lion. Or we just go ahead and say, you know what, we'll add another floor to this, and that's going to be totally, totally fine. Nice and simple. Doesn't have to be complicated. Just has to work. In fact, depending on how we want to do this, I might want to have ladders on both of these sides. We'll get it figured out. We'll get it figured out. But the idea is that this goes here, and then these storages are close enough so that I don't have to have another one on this side. And then, depending on where we want to put the bot factories and all that, then we probably won't either. Depending on, you know, how things go. And this is actually done. Exciting. So I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what? 3 workers is going to be fine, even though it's not accessible, because this is still flooded, and it will have to be slowly dried. But this being closed off before the drought is over means no more bad water. And this isn't... well, it's not too far off. The rate of production now obviously leaves a little bit to be desired when it comes to gears. But they'll keep up. Shouldn't be a problem. Just let things do what they're going to do. Remember, we can't send anybody to the mines until this is completely taken care of, because somebody made a mistake. Not going to say who. Not going to say who. But definitely was me. Why are you putting the ladders on both sides? You don't need it. Look, it's fine. It's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. We'll just let them do what they got to do, because that's basically the only way anything's ever going to get done. Explosives are good to go. Metal blocks, we have tons. They just need to bring it over here. And then gears, well, gears will be a thing that, you know, just kind of have to be what they're going to be. So we have an option with the gears. We can either decide that we want to import the gears from over here, which probably is not a wise choice, or we can import the planks since we're already doing that for the mine. Or we'll actually, no, that's technically wrong. We're already importing the planks for the bots is what I meant to say. Then we can just import a lot of planks, and we can just have gear production over here because there's no trees to grow. Or we can be absolute masochists and say we have to grow the trees in this district to be used in this district. But that would be kind of dumb, because there's trees right here that we could, again, if we were masochists, just cut down. But we're using these for fruit and maple syrup production. So if we really wanted to, we could have some that get cut down. I think, judging by the amount of trees that still have yet to be cut down here, I think we can support just importing logs and producing planks and gears over here, and what's the term? Backfilling as needed. Alright, so the good news is the pumps worked, and this is now no longer flooded. The bad news is I cannot guarantee that it won't happen again. But the good news is that these pumps can now go away. I just won't replant those trees in case we end up having to absolutely do that. But I think once this is taken care of, which they... Oh, you know what? Somebody was dumb and didn't connect this. That's probably why that hasn't happened yet. Once this gets built, then they can get rid of this stuff. There's only 11 days left, so I hope they actually can. But this being opened a little bit more should being the operative term, help alleviate some of that concern. Because this is 12 high. I just didn't have enough volume space. Volume space, yeah, that's one of those stupid redundancies, isn't it? All right. Yeah, gears are definitely a problem. All right. So we're going to need to, if we want this to be finished, we're going to need to have more gear production. And we clearly have enough planks. I think it's time, friends, to call in the big guns and build a large gear workshop. Now, I know what you're going to say. The large gear workshop requires gears to build, and you would be correct. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to, before we build large gear workshop, we're going to have to pause this because it is consuming gears. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to remove the 2 gear workshops that are furthest away so I don't completely screw everything else up. And then, of course, there's not going to be any of these on the ground. That would be too easy. Unlock the large gear workshop. Build the large gear workshop. And then, make sure that gets taken care of. Then once this gets built, we're gonna have to do a little bit of shenanigans here. Actually, no, I have a better idea. Instead of doing that, I'll just put it here because it'll be directly connected to everything. And then I just have to have a ladder put in place, but they can definitely build this, which actually means I didn't have to get rid of this. Look. Yeah, I know. But let's be honest. You kind of like when this happens anyway. It's fine. Oh, these aren't even prioritized by haulers or anything. Well. Yeah, this just needed to happen. It's okay. We'll survive. I don't think anything else is using gears. Oh, hey, this is completely dry. Of course it is. You know what? This probably should have been a discharge before the rest of them were, so this would actually produce stuff, but it's fine. I got extra beavers anyway. Not that big of a deal. So as soon as we get the rest of our gears in here, we'll be doing it just fine. This isn't connected. I'm going to go ahead and ladder that in place. I needed to have more gear production anyway, so like, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. So a little bit more hindsight would have been helpful. Would have been massively helpful, but hey, that's the way she goes. So this water's actually all gone already. Interesting. I probably should have these turned off in a drought. I can't do that. I actually can't do those sluices. Well, this sure looks nice, but all of our water is going to go away at some point. So I'm sure that's going to be received well. But hey, this is back open again, which is that's good. We could use the scrap metal for sure. But I need to make sure that my gear situation's looking better. Come on. One more gear. There it is. There we go. All right, so now that can work a whole lot better, which means that I can then, again, build another large gear workshop. And then once that's built, I can replace this with yet another large gear workshop, and then our gear problems will be mostly solved after all that. Wow, we have 19,000 food. Very good. Things are improving massively, and we still have tons of water. Alright, so that's done there. We got metal blocks, we got planks, we got scrap metal, and then we're going to have storage for gears and bricks and dynamite. So that should cover pretty much everything we need to do over here and be on this side of the district center. It is incredibly ugly, yes. Thank you very much for that observation. But that gives us an opportunity to do a little bit of decoration, which I think is fabulous. Just have to figure out how this is going to fit nicely in here. I know we have this 3x2 roofing piece here, but I don't think that's really going to really going to cut the mustard. I could do like a half and half, like salt box type thing, but they can't really reach this. So I think we'll just leave that alone for now. This will look fine though. It'll look pretty good. All these beavers coming through the district center will have that. Why does that beaver have wet fur? They shouldn't. There should be no water anywhere. Anyway, 8.5 days. This will almost certainly dry up, but it's fine. Oh, why are you coming over here? Oh, they're collecting all of the... Why? Why are there so many planks over here? There's no reason for there to be planks over here. What did I do? What did I do for there to be 20... This doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, God. What a pain in the butt. Alright, well... that's no longer accessible. Get out of here. Just don't be dumb. Just come get it from this way. They had no problem getting it from there. Why were you taking the longer route to get wet? Stop it. Get some help. You don't have to live like that. All right, so that's ready to go, which means this is ready to go. And yes, we are going to be replacing the planks with the larger lumber mills as well. Just got to get there. Just got to get there. It's a process. All right, so all of that nonsense aside, I think I definitely have enough gears. Once they finish building this, or they get close, I'll go ahead and unpause that other thing, because I definitely want to make sure that's done before we have any more bad water come out of there. I think they shouldn't have any problem getting the, take this out of here. Yeah, me too. Where are my gears? Where's the rest of the gears? Is it just because all the builders have wet fur? There we go. Alright, problem solved. And unpause. 200 more gears in the next 7 days might be a little bit of a stretch, but they're going to do their best. They're going to do their best. And the good thing is, these can now be set to obtain and prioritized, and that's going to help the builders out tremendously, even though these aren't really very directly connected, which we could pretty easily solve just by doing that. That needs to be set to supply, and that needs to be set to obtain. That needs to be set to obtain. Ooh, which actually this... You know what? This doesn't need to be set to either, because we're going to be probably... Yeah, we're going to be producing scrap... Or, not producing scrap metal. Well, we are going to be producing scrap metal. We're going to be producing metal blocks from the scrap metal in this district and also exporting them, but we want it to be able to go both ways. All right, I think I've done just about everything I can do, short of just letting them build this before we get into the nitty-gritty of the additional nonsense that's going to be occurring. So what I think is probably going to happen is the metal production itself can be kind of above the mine here. We're not going to need to have a ton of smelters. We do have the large smelters as well. Let's not forget that. But we need to make sure that we have charcoal production, which honestly we could probably just import it. It's not really going to be consuming that much. But right now we only have this one kiln, and we don't even really have that much storage. That's clay. We don't even really have that much storage. We have 360, which I guess is okay. It's probably fine. Probably fine, but I guess I should have had another one of those over here. Oh well, best laid plans and all that. Yeah. Okay, they'll definitely finish this in 6 days. Should be okay. We got plenty of planks, no issues there. Let's start putting in some metal processing over here. We have all this space under here. We're not going to need too much more in the way of capacity for supplies for the mine, assuming things get shuffled around appropriately. But we're going to need to make sure we have a couple of these, what are these called? Industrial piles, there we go, set up for storing the scrap metal and storing the metal that we actually make, because these spot part factories, it might not look like it uses a lot, but it definitely adds up. If you have 2 for chassis, 2 for heads, then pretty much every working day, you're going to have 4 blocks per day, which again, might not seem like much, but we're also building stuff for the rest of everything up here. And these, every 3 hours, can produce 2 each. So in theory, one of these can handle everything, but there's also going to be other construction we're going to want to do, so we want to make sure we have extra production, because you guys said you wanted to see a whole bunch of stuff all over the map, and we can definitely do it, but we're going to need a whole lot of production. So, I know, get on with it. We can have our overhangs in here, and everything can be situated right along this main road. Probably totally fine. So a 3x1 here will do a whole lot, along with please click right here. That gives us 4 that way. And then I don't think it needs to be necessarily over this, but we will if we have to when we get to that point. So a large smelter, if I just put in, say, 2 of those, that leaves me space right here on the end to put in, because these are going to draw 300 each. I can put in a liquid fuel engine. I guess it doesn't really need to be this exact spot, but I guess that's probably fine. The liquid fuel engine right there. Right across the way from it, we can put in an underground tank for, you'll never guess, fuel. So this can fuel the engine and the bots that'll be working here eventually, which means we're going to have the refinery set up, which means we're going to have bad water, which means this has to dry out, which it won't this episode. That's going to be a next time. Wow, we're almost at an hour already. Time flies. But yeah, it's all going to come together. Just, trust the process, our absolute favorite phrase of all time. Trust the process. I promise I'm not going to, completely lead you astray. Usually. And that's going to be totally fine. Large industrial piles have that second floor entrance, which in this case could actually be helpful. Let's see. Yeah, you know what I can do? Because these hold 600. I haven't actually used these. This is a good opportunity to do so. Let's put right here a 3 dynamite. And then I'll just stack this stuff right here. And it'll all be on top of this little spindly piling right here. That's definitely safe. That's beaver engineering at its finest. But yeah, scrap metal and metal storage. Totally fine. We'll have another one over where we're actually building the bots. But this will look a little bit better. And, yeah, that's about all I got. We'll just hide it there. I didn't want to have it right across from here because this isn't going to match up and it's going to bother me. So, it is the way it is. Getting pretty close on the gears. Pretty close on the gears. 3 days with this little here, could be a little bit of a struggle to get that finished. But if anyone can do it, the beavers can. Meanwhile, the little sad spire poking out of the water. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Alright. Power. Oh, we're actually underpowered. We're actually underpowered for all this. Well, we could replace this with another one of these. What do you call it? Yeah, this is definitely the scientific term. I think if I have to choose one... Oh, because this is all tied in as well. Well, we're actually... Okay, that's counting this. Or is it? Yeah, this is definitely the same. And I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and do this. Maybe I shouldn't. Oh, no, that uses gears. I'm definitely not doing that. Maybe we'll do it later. Maybe we'll do it later. Oh, they finished. They just have to actually finish. Perfect. No more... Oh, I like how red that is. No more problem with bad water on this part of the map. We just have to worry about whatever's happening here. So they got this taken care of. Look at that. Look at that. Let's demolish this. Demolish this. And I am kind of hopeful that this will help enough. If not, then I'm sure this will inspire many comments, but this should help substantially, hopefully. All right. They still haven't gotten around to doing this yet. I guess that's fine. Of course, they're going to build this first. Metal blocks we still have tons of. This we still have. Yeah, so we're not nearly ready. I made a tactical error in placement. I made a severe tactical error in placement, friends. I know, who could have seen it coming? Sheesh. Batting 1,000 on this one. You know, I took a week off of Apocalypse mode because I felt so bad about it. And then I come back and I do this, so I don't know. Maybe I need to do that for this as well. District Crossing cannot empty out directly into that. We're going to have to move these two. Hey, at least I had room for it, right? At least I had room for it. We're going to have to move these two one more out. And oh, you know what? This is actually really funny because now it's going to leave me exactly enough space to actually handle putting this in. Yeah, so that's going to go there, and then we'll have space. Wow, that was almost an enormous blunder. Almost an absolutely incredible blunder. Well, that's the way it goes. Oh, that doesn't even fit. Come on. Ladder, ladder. Ladder. Ladder, ladder. Which, I'm gonna say pause that so nobody goes into the nasty, and we'll just have to remember to unpause that later. But, like I said, Badwater's problem solved. We got 1.8 days left in the drought, and oh boy. Oh boy. I almost made critical errors. What else is new? Oh yeah, I was gonna have a power plant going here. Now that these aren't gonna have to get planted again, I don't think. Do I really want this to be all the way out here? I guess it's fine. Actually, you know what? No, it's close enough to the end of this one. You guys can give me feedback on that. Well, you can give me feedback on anything. But where do you think I should put power plant for this automated water pump? It doesn't have to be a liquid fueled one. It could be just a regular engine. But it does need to go over in this general area. And the water wheels are going to go away. But just appreciate if you gave me your feedback on where you want that to go. This has objectively not gone super great. But we're trying. We're doing our best. And I think this is going to overall be a good thing that we've done here. So that's in place. Yes, I do know that the smelter, large smelter, cannot go on top of this because it will block the ladder, and that is okay. That's fine. Just so we're all on the same page. But this, at the very least, once these are complete, we'll be able to run, and then we'll think about where we want all of our bot infrastructure to go, which we do still have time to figure out, and I'll be awaiting your feedback on that as well. So yes, overall, I do feel like this was productive, even if it was a little bit of chaos. You know how it goes. Did they get this taken care of? No, not quite. This needs to be absolutely prioritized right now. Come in. There you go. Get these things out of here. If this floods when cycle 22 starts, then that's going to be unfortunate. But I think this is about as much as we could possibly hope to accomplish in this regard. This is height 12. Even if we get this nice and level, I don't think you can see through it. Come on. Come on. Yeah, see, that's still ahead. That's still above. I know this isn't going to drain 28 whatever's worth of stuff, but it sure isn't going to block it up like it used to. Remember, we've massively increased the amount of space this can go off. This here is 14. That is high, but we do have the option of coming over here and getting rid of this as well, and then, of course, blasting this out further if we so desire. This does give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe. So still not quite enough, but I keep saying but just incessantly. I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be okay. If it's not going to be okay, then, well, we're going to get over it. But I digress severely and consistently in this series at this point. We might as well just go ahead and do our end of episode stuff now and pick up next episode at the start of cycle 22 and see what happens. But yes, I appreciate your attention and your support on this series. This has been performing just absolutely unbelievably well in terms of metrics. I can't believe it. You guys really like the series, and I like it too. So I want to try and make sure that stuff goes as well as possible, which is why I feel a little bit bad about how disjointed some of today's has been. But I really appreciate the support regardless. Beard Boosters, you already know, making it possible to keep doing all of this stuff, even though January, February are down months for YouTube ad revenue money. Well, this series is doing well anyway, so I guess that's irrelevant. But in the grand scheme of things, the stability and the support that you guys provide makes it possible for me to keep doing this and replace the computer that keeps having blue screen problems. We're getting there. We're getting there very, very close. Just waiting on the last couple parts. And then hopefully we'll be nice and stable, ready to do even more nonsense with the beavers and Cities Skylines 2 again as well. I've been waiting so long to do stuff on that. You have, well, some of you have an idea because you were there when I booted up the game for the first time and it didn't work. So, rambling aside, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we get to spend this time together. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you back in this series on Friday. And we'll see you tomorrow for more Apocalypse Mode. Not Mork Apocalypse. That sounds like some... What was that show from that? Whatever. Completely irrelevant. Goodbye. I'll see you later. Take care.